Howdy, y'all. Welcome to the Supernova Societies. This is our discussion on our second ideal, which is leave everything better than you found it. Holly?
Every existence on this earth leaves some sort of mark, imprint, or impact. What will yours be? First, recognizing that we are not on this earth for free. There is some cost involved in just having the reverence and mindfulness of acknowledging this is the first step. So once we've established that there is indeed a cost for each life that's on this earth, then we need to ask ourselves, what can we do to make sure as many lives as possible have a good return on the investment? How can we offset what natural resources we are consuming by being here? We could think about these couple things, like minimizing our carbon footprint, our waste. Think about what single-use items we are consuming, like Keurig coffee cups or individual bottled water. Are we recycling? Let's start thinking about our vehicles, our homes, our lifestyle, our practices. Now, this is not to guilt, shame, or blame anyone. This is an earnest discussion about giving back, about being aware, about leaving something nicer than we found it. This is also not just about the environment. This ideal can work for an establishment, perhaps like the company that you work with. It could work in a friend group, a social club, our family, also for individuals that we are intimate with, or even individuals we're casual with. Each person that we come into contact with is an opportunity to leave something or someone better than we found it. I love Dolly Parton's phrase, if you see someone without a smile, give them one of yours. I also really love this quote, always leave things better than you found them, especially people, by Henry Cloud.
I love that quote. Thanks, Holly. So why do we want to do this, right? It's about sustainability. It's about respect for ourselves, our planet, and other people. It's about leaving a positive impact. It's about mutuality and understanding that we're all in this together. It's about responsibility. We have a responsibility and a stewardship, as Holly spoke about earlier. And it's really, ultimately, it's also about self-preservation. It's about making sure that we have a planet to live off of, and our generations that going forward have a planet to live off of. I'd love for us to discuss, guys, like a little bit more like what it is we feel that why this is so important to us. Which one of you guys wants to go first?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay, Lama.
Yeah, for me, this is definitely like one of my favorite ideals, and
Good one.
it's really coming from the fact that we're all doing the best that we can, and there are still many problems that we've yet to find solutions to on this planet, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not trying to shame humanity as a collective right now. But any way that we can contribute to solving the overarching problem of existence, by making things easier on ourselves or more efficient and less wasteful, is time well spent, in my humble opinion. We're doing the best that we can, but we can always do better. And that should be an aim in everything that we do. And I mean this like in everything, from physical environment to also the energetic environment, which is something Holly kind of touched on a second ago as well. Sometimes all that's needed is really like an energetic upgrade to get things moving and just like working again. And I love injecting fun and play into every single situation. I mean, every. I have wrapped the entire I Like Big Butts by Sir Mix-a-Lot with one of my brain injured patients while I was helping him change his diaper. I left him way better than I found him, let me tell you.
But the question is, do you like big butts?
I can't lie.
Holly, would you like to share? Or Loma, are you set there?
No, that was kind of what I had to say. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Holly?
There's so many great quotes about this because this is such an integral way to be a good human. Maya Angelou said, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. So in respects to leave everything better than you found it, being conscientious about the wake that we leave, like our emotional wake when we are interacting with a person in the grocery store line or a server, even in traffic. Emotional wake that we leave when we are in a social setting or in a classroom, in a group, just really being mindful about how powerful we truly are. This should be not shaming, but this should be an empowering thing. This should be a recognition of how incredibly impactful each and every one of us is and can be, and harnessing that for good. Really being aware of how much impact that we do indeed leave on the earth, on people's hearts, in our legacy, on our for our descendants that come after us. It's really, really important, and it's such a gift to be given what we're given, and part of that is acknowledging that when we receive an invitation or we're entrusted with something, um, just to really show your gratitude by having worthy behavior and giving back, leaving something better than you found it. My grandmother always taught me to, when I received an invitation to someone's home, to make sure that I helped clean up the dishes after a meal or pick up the toys in a bedroom and do everything that I can to contribute to the overall functionality of the experience, to make my invitation something that they were happy that they included me, because it was more of a joy than an impact, than a negative impact. It was a positive one. And I do hope that my son is also carrying that along as well.
Well, I mean, I guess if you're leaving him better than you found him, he would be, right? Right.
We can
So
only hope. He's a teenager.
we can only hope, right? Do your best you can. You throw him out in the world. So like for me, Holly, I think are you? Do you feel like great? So for me, I kind of see the world like on a spectrum, like and how people approach the world on a spectrum. Like there are at the ends of the spectrum, there are the locust, right? The locust is a consumer. They just come in and they eat everything else and they leave the landscape barren, right, behind them. On the other end of the spectrum, right, is the honeybee, right? The honeybee's awesome. They build these hives and they have a society that works together. They make honey and they are pollinators. They're actually building stuff. They're actually making the world a better place for their being in it. Yeah, you might get stung every now and then, but like for their being in it, genuinely, it's a better world for having honeybees. We wouldn't have so many things without honeybees. So in the middle is I think where most of us fit, right? And I call this the caterpillar butterfly, right? So we kind of come into the world as consumers and we're crying and screaming and all of this, and then we do things um, uh, then we do things like uh, uh, we build things, we make the world a better place, and we become butterflies and we become pollinators, right? And so when we do that, we make the world a better place. So our goal is to be towards the honeybee butterfly side of things, but most of us exist in the middle. And we're gonna step into some of the ways that we can do that as on this next slide. So how can we do these things, right? We can actively listen to people. We can be respectful. We can organize different types of cleanups. Like you can do beach cleanups, or you can do neighborhood cleanups. You can do trail cleanups. You can do ocean cleanups. And you do this by yourself or with others. And then be present with people and wherever you are. Leave no trace and hold space for other people. Guys, how do you some of the ways that and always be the example. Sorry, always try to be the example. And I'm not perfect. I know one of the things I do is I carry silverware everywhere I go, so that way I don't have to use recyclable silverware, and I carry my own fold-out straw. Guys, what are some of the ways that you guys are actively doing leaving the world a better place than you found it?
Yeah, my favorite thing to do is, so I'm up in the Pacific Northwest, so there's a lot of hiking up here and a lot of beautiful sights and gorgeous nature. But this is a trick that I picked up from the burner community back in Georgia when I would be hiking Appalachia and all those areas. Is I would carry a plastic grocery bag with me, and it was my designated MOOP bag, and so every time I'm hiking anywhere, if I see a cigarette butt, if I see a piece of wrapping of like of like a protein bar or something like that. If I see anything, I just throw it into there. And so I'm just, everywhere I go, I'm slowly cleaning up whatever area I find. And I really like that. Oh, thank you, Holly. Moop, for you guys who are not a part of the burner community, is matter out of place. So it's just anything that could affect the environment and does not belong in the environment. So,
And that could be attitudes and people too. Like,
Can confirm.
like, yeah, you know,
Can
uh,
confirm.
yeah.
Anything that is taking away from the beauty and the magic of the moment. So
What a smears. Go ahead, sorry.
yeah, so I really, so since we're on the burner topics, I really love leave no trace as one of the things that we try to practice at Burns. I'm often a theme camp organizer, so I'm kind of in charge of like what's happening at a particular location, and sometimes Brian is the placement leader, and so what I've found is that when I'm entrusted with a plot of real estate at a burn, I like to be the very last person to leave that property knowing that I have scanned inch by inch every square of that property. And oftentimes I'll find things like ancient ancient like tent stakes, or like a dead Coke bottle from, or Coke can from like the 80s. You can tell it's like, I'll dig it out and everything. It's like an artifact. But I like to find all these things that like clearly they did not realize they were there, and I was given that plot in a certain way, and I go above and beyond to remove it for the people after me, and maybe I'll get that plot again and it'll be cleaned up, after having done all that. But I do feel like there's a certain amount of pride that I take in doing that, and it means a lot to me, and I do feel like I get favor moving forward because the people that are in charge of giving out those plots, that real estate, know that I'm going to be a good steward of what I was given. Can you confirm or deny that, Brian?
Yeah, absolutely. People who take care of what we give them, we always give them more. We're more apt to give them more space, and more apt to give them the space that they choose in the future when we're doing placement. Um, so some of the ways that I like to, like I said, I carry my own forks and spoons around, my own straws. I try not to take plastic bags when I'm at grocery stores, because they all wind up in the ocean. And I also just try to be there for people and listen to what they have to say. And just, I used to talk a lot more than I listened. And I realized this is an old quote. And I don't know, however you're feeling is God, but God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, right? So we should probably listen twice as much as we talk. And so I want to, I try to be there for people, and I try to make sure that I provide space for them, and I'm present. Am I perfect at it? No, but I'm also trying to leave myself better than I found me. Each time I'm trying to evolve and be better. Do you guys have anything else you want to add to this?
yeah, I do. Just like piggybacking off what you're saying with the actively listening and holding space. Honestly, that is the only way for us to figure out how to solve anything. We have to listen, we have to receive what is the actual problem. We can't talk over people and go, I think this is the issue. No, the issue is in sitting back and really listening and holding that space for someone. And I think that that's really important. Sometimes you can literally leave someone better than you found them just by being silent and just letting them like get out what they need to get out. And they'll be like, whoo, thanks, that's all I needed. And it's like, no problem. I did nothing but sit here and witness you.
But that's interesting, because it reminds me that I don't have to try to fix everything, like, which gets you back onto that drama triangle, which is a whole nother thing we could talk about. But like, just sometimes letting people vent at you or vent to you, instead of trying to actively try to fix it, just let them be, it is fixing it anyway.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing for all the other good stuff that we have. I did want to give a shout out to my fiance Drew for the hashtag trash tag events that he's hosted in the Atlanta area. There was like it was an Instagram trend for a little while that these, young kids were taking pictures of like just a place that was trashed, and then they would clean it all up and show all the stuff in bags, and then it was like hashtag trash tag was the hashtag, and it was so fun. And what we learned from doing that, we organized a few in the community, and we just got there was so much like bonding and friendship and like fellowship that happened while we were just picking up garbage. You know, we had vests and like gloves and like little pinchy things and all that stuff. Like you can go fancy or you can just go, you know, go casual. It's really like whatever you feel like organizing. At one point we had, we're like giving people like grilled cheese and had like a little party afterwards and stuff too. But it can be like really small and just you taking a bag with you, which I love so much, Lomo, that example that you gave. In fact, I'm going to go on a walk in my neighborhood tonight and do exactly that. So thanks for that inspiration, immediacy. And it was such a team building, like beautiful thing to get to do. And it's like something that like really gave Drew's life a lot of meaning to knowing that he was giving back in that way. And it's so small and it's so easy and anyone can do it. So, if you are inspired by this and you want to show us what you're doing, like please do, you know, post things on our page. And I would love it if you use the hashtag of leave everything better than you found it. That would be so cool. You know, hashtag Supernova Society, just to let us know that we are leaving something better than we found it and making this video and spending this time and energy giving back.
Well, I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time today. Holly, I'm going to let you lead us out with this one.
This is adorable from the Lorax that we should all know and love from childhood. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not.
Thank you guys for your time and energy today.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everyone. Thank you.
Cheers.